I want to talk to you about your performance at work. Workplaces love performance. It's an idea that's shot through in so many places that we work. You have performance plans, performance reviews, people are tracking their performance. I want to suggest that perhaps you shouldn't be thinking about your performance at all. So performance has a second meaning, and that is acting, pretending. And to be honest, an awful lot of workplace performance is that second thing. It's acting. It's constructing a different person kind of alongside us that we think is needed by the workplace situation. And there's a whole load of problems with that process. First of all, it's based on what we think. It's not based on really reality and what's going on at the moment. It's based on kind of ideas in the mind about what's going on. And that just isn't helpful because it distances us from the reality of the real situation that we're in and stops us being able to respond effectively. The other big problem is that it's energetically intensive. Because you're creating this thing, you're feeding this thing that isn't you, it takes a huge amount of energy to create and to pretend all the time. You're not being you, and that takes effort all the time in all interactions. And this could become a habit. If you've ever felt really drained at the end of a work day, not through really hard work, but through just having to pretend, then this is probably what's been going on. The problem with performance is that it can get in the way of feelings of success too. Because you've constructed this persona that isn't really you, it kind of stands alongside you. When it has success, when it gets praise, whenever anything good happens to it, it's not actually happening to you. It's happening to this thing that isn't you. So you don't feel satisfied. You don't feel happy with it. That's what can lead to that strange hollow feeling when you've had this huge success that you thought was going to come, but has come through performance, hasn't come through being really you. So what can you do about this if you've noticed any of those symptoms and you think it's something that you might want to explore? So the first thing you can do is reflect on the bits of work and the behaviors that really feel like you, and the bits of work and the behaviors that feel like performance, that feel like acting, that feel like pretending. And the more of the ones that feel like you and the fewer of the ones that feel like acting you can get through in a workday, the better you'll feel, the more energy you'll have, and the more satisfaction you'll have from doing it. The point is to try and integrate over time the real you into work. And that can be difficult because you've created this set of expectations, you've created this persona, and not only are you relying on it, other people have come to expect it as well. And a really sudden shift will freak people out, basically, or scare people. And that's not what you want to do. That would be difficult for you, and that's not the goal here. So instead, it's about taking small changes and experimenting over time, setting up that growth so that you're becoming more and more you at work over a period of months, even years. So what you want to do is find small things you can do that feel satisfying but tricky. So you want a bit of resistance, you want a bit of push, but you don't want something that's terrifying. You don't want something that you have to completely power through to be able to do. That might be just working from maybe fewer notes when you're speaking. Maybe it's telling a few personal stories in a PowerPoint presentation, just adding one personal story about you rather than just being really factual. Or perhaps it's including things that you love in your work and examples. So maybe if there's a TV show you love or a bit of music that you love, anything that really, really resonates for you, then getting that out there, making that part of how you're presenting yourself in the workplace is a small part of being able to do this. And when you do this, you might find initially that it feels quite vulnerable, that it triggers some fear. And that's likely to happen. That's probably what stopped you from being able to do this in the first place. If you do experience this fear, sit with it, listen to it, listen to what it's trying to tell you. And once it's told you what it's trying to tell you, it'll probably dissipate. It'll just float away. So don't try and power through it. Listen and be a bit more subtle with how you're responding to the fear that being vulnerable raises for you. Do let me know in the comments how you get on with trying any of this and whether you really feel that this is a thing for you. And if it is a thing for you, please remember that you're not alone. Lots of my clients experience things like this and have had a huge amount of material success, but have also experienced this strange discontinuity between this work persona and themselves. And so the material success has felt oddly hollow because it hasn't been them that's been successful. It's been this thing that they've created alongside them. If you'd like to talk to me more, do get in touch for a chat and some personalized help, because everyone's journey is a little bit different. I'd love to talk to you about this.